A lot of you are saying that I seem different, as though I seem like I'm doing better. Thank you. But to be honest with you, I've just been reading a lot more, both fiction and nonfiction, and specifically with the nonfiction, I've been applying what I have been learning. I've been exploring other types of self-development, not just the manifesting stuff, but topics within womanhood and childhood neglect, hypnosis, and so much more. So today I'm going to share with you 5 unpopular-ish books that have unexpectedly transformed me in some way, shape, or form. Mama Gena's School of Womanly Arts could be perceived as controversial, but if it is, it's probably because you're missing the core of the message, and maybe you're not overthinking it enough to find what she's really trying to say. And I believe the message of all of Regina Thomas Shower's work is just pleasure. We should all experience more of that. This book specifically is more so directed towards women, and before giving this pink book a chance, I actually read some of the reviews. Some readers accuse Regina's writings of being problematic, dull, dangerous for the 21st century woman, and I can see where the confusion lies. I mean, what I'm going to quote for you next is directly taken from this book specifically. The only function of the clitoris is pleasure. This organ of pleasure that we women have wants what every woman wants. Attention, attention, attention. Look, I never said that Regina Thomas Shower was a poet. But despite this book has still been immensely helpful for me, and I do believe it could still be beneficial for women like me who find themselves doing far too much. And what I mean by that is, all of my adult life, I have been a doer, a forcer, a pusher. I push people, and this was in direct rebellion to how I have been raised. Like many people, women specifically, we were trained, I use that word intentionally, we were trained to deny our true desires, to suspend all pleasurable experiences in favor of societal acceptance and for the presentation of a proper ladylike image, be an obedient daughter, a nurturing, always understanding mother, a beautiful, supportive wife. This was, honest to God, the expectation I had bludgeoned into my head since childhood. The encouragement to simply have fun and enjoy myself was a concept that I never even knew existed. I was forbidden to play video games because I was a girl. Girls are supposed to be well-read but never speak, always be beautiful and slim enough to attract a man, and certainly get married before the age of 25, but do not talk to men, do not flirt with men, lest you look like a complete slut. When you look at the mental conditioning that some or maybe many of women have received, often at the hands of our own matriarchs, it's very nice to hear a woman tell me that. Ownership is the key to beauty. You gotta dig on down and own yours to have yours. The only thing that actually matters in the world of beauty is that we cast our ballot for ourselves. We cannot always be the good girl and still be able to tap into the amazing power of our individual love and enthusiasm. It's nice to hear the testimonial of a 40-something-year-old woman who for all of her life hated her natural breast so much that she would never take her top off during intimacy. But as a result of learning how to love and appreciate her own God-given breasts, she not only healed all of her intimate relationships, but she no longer desired breast augmentation. I think with discernment, this book can be a powerful message for a certain woman out there. As crazy as it may seem, some of us still need to be reminded every so often and actually taught how to enjoy ourselves and to claim ourselves and our bodies and to claim our pleasure fully for the sake of exaltation. On my last birthday, a friend gifted me a book The Arts of Seduction by Seema Anand. I won't formally recommend it because I'm still only on chapter 3, but in chapter 1, Seema goes on to write about the history of perfumes and fragrances and colognes, and I must have been in a highly suggestible mood because directly after reading this chapter, something snapped and I went out on a perfume shopping spree. I started buying whole bottles of perfume in an attempt to find my signature scent, and after I spent all that money, thank God Scentbird offered to partner with me, and I have continued my signature scent odyssey, I like that new word, through Scentbird with their help. I like to wear a collection of different fragrances at once, like each area of my body should smell a different kind of lovely. But buying full-size bottles when I'm still not committed to that scent is not very good money management. Now, is that? Well, the first month of Scentbird is only $8, and after that, it's less than $17 a month. Their selection is diverse, and you have the flexibility to choose before committing to a full-sized bottle. They have fragrances from brands we know like Prada and Versace, but also more niche, unknown labels like Parfum de Marly and Roja. Fragrances most people probably don't have yet, so you get to be extra exclusive. I also get a 30-day supply of each fragrance, which gives me the time that I need to fully experience each fragrance before actually committing to it. That's awesome. But what I really want to talk about is their packaging. I like to smell good all the time. I carry mini bottles of perfumes with me wherever I go. This is a mini bottle of Versace's Cristal Noir that I bought at a regular store, and every time I carry it with me in my purse, the top falls off, leaking my beloved Cristal Noir all over the contents of my purse. But this is the packaging of Scentbird's fragrances. The sturdy case locks and unlocks, so I can toss it anywhere and it's never going to leak. My fragrances this month, based on my personalized suggestions, were Cleopatra by Tocca. I know it's Italian, so it's got to be Tocca. Tocca? Anyways, with notes of vanilla, musk, jasmine, and grapefruit. This one goes behind my ears. I got Oddity by Rag & Bone with notes of leather, vanilla bean, and licorice. It's a masculine scent, but when mixed with something highly floral, you're going to smell like a dream. And I got Cherry Punk by 1015 with notes of cherry, leather, violet, and more. This is my favorite one so far. This one goes on my sternum. I could talk about fragrances for hours. Like, I actually made a whole video on aromatherapy, but let me just stop myself. If you are interested in trying Scentbird, scan the QR code or use the link below, and with my coupon code you'll get 55% off at Scentbird. Plus you'll get free delivery to your door and a free case. I didn't even get that when I started. You get the product for half the price. That's just $8. I really do think that you should indulge yourself a bit. Self-Hypnosis by Valerie Austin was one of the first books I read that was solely devoted to this topic. I've read more books on self-hypnosis since, but I still think that this book specifically is a great introduction to the whole topic. Valerie clarifies what hypnosis is. She provides ready-made scripts as well as instructions on how to make your own scripts. These scripts contain suggestions, and these suggestions are aligned with a whole host of common and actually a few niche desires. This book specifically is something that I like, and actually the whole topic of self-hypnosis is something that I like because it's really just a deeper version of SATs, affirmation practices, and basically any method that any of us are used to using to reprogram our subconscious minds. One of the rules of creating a potent suggestion is keeping it stated in the present tense, keep it specific, and keep it simple, just as we've already been taught to do through the law of assumption. So it's a really nice crossover from the content that we're already used to consuming. This book, as I already stated, is more of an introduction, but I still recommend it because Valerie provides very simple tips on learning how to induce a trance-like relaxing state. And relaxation, being able to induce that trance-like state, is kind of rule one for anyone who is wanting to practice SATs properly. SATs by 𝑩𝒖𝒔𝒊𝒏𝒆𝒔 literally stands for state akin to sleep, which is that trance-like state, that self-hypnosis, and this book specifically will teach you on how to induce. So regardless of what your feelings are on hypnosis or self-hypnosis, I mean, it's still logical to learn how to induce that state akin to sleep, especially if you're interested in practicing the Neville Goddard method, SATS, which literally stands for state akin to sleep. I've mentioned this book before, but I was not able to devote a whole chapter to it until now. This book will open your mind and simplify the whole topic of parallel worlds and quantum jumping. So Kevin starts out by explaining in layman terms very popular quantum mechanic studies and theories: the holographic universe, the multiverse, the double slit experiment, etc. Then he goes on to connect all these topics that are commonly spoken about: the role of the subconscious mind, the universe, self-concept, and the way our brain works. Allow me to read a shortened excerpt. The nucleus accumbens produces a powerful chemical in the brain, a neurotransmitter called dopamine. Dopamine is the main pleasure chemical in the brain. When the nucleus accumbens releases dopamine, you feel great and think very clearly. Any behavior engaged whilst dopamine flows through the brain is likely to be repeated, and the connection of neurons, brain cells, that triggered that behavior becomes stronger. The subconscious mind, which makes a decision as to what matters, get relayed to the conscious mind. The feeling we get of observing reality and making decisions is partly an illusion. When we get the sense of making a decision, indeed we are, but your decision is made from a pre-selected list of choices compiled by the subconscious mind and sent from the thalamus to the prefrontal cortex. This whole process happens in less than 0.2 seconds. The thalamus makes a decision on what information should be relayed for the conscious mind to decide on the next step. For example, the thalamus would not ask the conscious mind whether or not to keep beating your heart or whether or not to stop sweating, but it will ask the conscious mind whether or not to eat a sandwich or cross the street. That feeling we get of deciding to do something is often just us choosing among options presented by the thalamus. This is one of the ways the subconscious mind guides our path through life, our path through many worlds, and determines what we perceive as reality. Our thalamus decides what stimuli the conscious mind should focus on. It controls our attention. If a stimulus in the environment is novel enough, threatening enough, or has the potential to benefit us, the thalamus alerts the conscious mind to focus on it. To continue with the issue of decision making, the thalamus, subconscious, only says to the conscious mind, prefrontal cortex, would you like to do A or B or C or D? That is all. The thalamus is a key gatekeeper in the brain that is covertly guiding your every behavior, and the thalamus does not just give you the options A or B or C or D, but simultaneously the thalamus tells you, if you do A, I will give you this wonderful burst of pleasure called dopamine. If you do B, I will give you less dopamine. If you do C or D, I will cut the dopamine levels down so low that you will feel horrible. This is what the thalamus calls your options. This is the extent of our free will. Many times option C or D are the options that you logically know are in your best interest, like studying for an exam. Yes, we have the option of consciously choosing C or D, and that is called willpower. But as you well understand, willpower can be exhausting. The thalamus will make you have to repeat the process dozens of times before it finally will get the point where it raises going to the gym to the preferred options of A or B. That is how habits get created. Someone who has been going to the gym every day for a month will find it much easier to keep doing so compared to someone trying to self-motivate their way to the gym for the first few weeks. The behavior becomes a habit when the thalamus is finally convinced, based on the statistics taken by the hippocampus and the basal ganglia, God, that a behavior should become option A or B and not the less preferred options C or D. So this right here just explained why I planned to practice visualization every day and then just quit after a week. Or a more common one, why I actually did reinstate my gym membership and then stopped going after 2 weeks, no matter how much I really wanted to see the results of the 12-3-30 treadmill workout. In self-development and in manifesting, everyone encourages repetition and persistence, but it's really hard to persist and repeat wonderful habits when our subconscious mind is up there saying, no, Sawi, we're not going to do that. In Moving Through Parallel Worlds, Kevin teaches us methods on how to solve that inconsistency so we can get back to doing the things that we really desire. One Small Step Can Change Your Life, The Kaizen Way by Robert Mauer. If you were to get any book on this list, I would recommend this one. It's a nice, short, small, tiny read. But hear me when I say this. This book is boring. And Robert says things that you don't want to hear. So you know how you get when you just watched a motivational video? You get very pumped up. Today is the day you're going to change your life in all areas. You're going to maximize your potential. No turning back. You know how you get. You're going to wake up at 5 a.m. and meditate for an hour, work out 5 days a week, only whole foods from this day forward, read 20 pages a day every day, take those programs and courses to revolutionize your resume, no more spending on unnecessary things. So since the last time you made that whole new you schedule, have you stuck to it? I don't think you have, but there's a neurological reason for that, hun. All changes, even positive ones, are scary. Attempts to reach goals through radical or revolutionary means often fail because they heighten fear. Robert writes on the amygdala. The real problem with the amygdala and its fight or flight response today is that it sets off alarm bells whenever we want to make a departure from our safe, usual routines. As I was reading this book, it was torturous for me before there was clarity, because this man is telling me to go slower when all I want to do is get to my ideal life now. And I truly believe that I can hunker down and get it all done now, get there now. Yet, a simple goal of mine that I've had for years, play piano for an hour a day, with my all or nothing approach, has yet to be accomplished. I had to wonder, could I not have already been a master pianist by now had I started infinitesimally smaller by playing the piano for 1 minute a day, which is as small an action that Robert suggests we take. The final book on this list is Homecoming by John Bradshaw. Though this has been a list of generally positive content, this book takes a darker turn. It's about healing your inner child and is, in my humble opinion, the most comprehensive book on reparenting. John goes even deeper and he identifies different types of abuse above the standard list, the different ways in which many of us were mistreated and deprived of nurture as children, the different tools that were used to deprive us of nurture, to neglect us and to mistreat us, religion, culture, academia, and more. I don't want to dwell in the depths of childhood neglect and mistreatment because this book goes beyond that dark content. Even if you had a wonderful childhood with wonderful parents or guardians, there is still potentially a little boy or girl within you that could use your attention for something, hun. When children fail in school, it causes them great pain. They feel inferior, which creates a being wound. I'm not okay. If children do well in school, that too creates problems. Everything in life becomes a potential A. Everything is centered around performance. John shares numerous in-depth exercises to help you finally heal those old wounds that have now, in adulthood, manifested themselves into trust issues, general repression of your true self, guilt, shame, fear, unnecessary cynicism, constant never-ending self-doubt. And practicing any one of these exercises would be a truly purifying experience. I very rarely read one book at a time, but this book somehow managed to hold my attention. In Homecoming, John Bradshaw writes the story of you. So I hope you enjoyed this list of wonderful books I have shared today. I truly do believe that reading and applying the lessons taught in any one of these books would do wonders for you, as they have for me. I hope you give at least one of them a chance, if only on Kindle, which is so much cheaper than paperback or hardcover. And with that being said, thank you for watching this video. I truly do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I trust you'll give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more content just like this one. So, how did you like today's video, and what video would you like to see next? You let me know in the comment section down below. I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Toodles.